Want to know what the most hypnotic question ever is? Well, tune in because you are gonna witness the magic of it. And I'm gonna explain exactly why it's hypnotic because not a lot of people understand why this question is incredibly hypnotic. And this is the question that we first ask our clients as soon as they enter our hypnotic questioning sessions. And this is, what's the problem? And this, a lot of hypnotherapists misunderstand this and think that this is an intake question before their discovery call. But no, no, this is actually the most important question that you are going to ask your client. Let's set the context of a client coming to you because they have emotional eating issues, right? And so obviously, if you take a look at a big picture, that particular client is struggling with emotional eating that is affecting their lives enough that they actually booked in a call with you and want the problem resolved as soon as they can, right? And so when a client comes into your session and you ask them, they've already paid, you've done everything in terms of answering their questions in your discovery call, that's done. You are there to solve a problem right then and there. You're there to get straight into the therapeutic work, which is really what your first sessions need to be, not this wishy-washy, like explaining and pre-talks and all that bullshit. First session, you are there to help your clients as fast as possible. When you approach your sessions this way, you will stand out because the wishy-washy bullshit is really not going to attract the clients who are motivated right now. So if you approach your clients this way and you talk to your potential clients this way, you are going to get them to really be motivated to let go of the problem, which in and of itself is what is hypnotic, right? And so when you let an emotional eating client comes to you and you ask them in that session, okay, John Doe, what's the problem? And they talk about emotional eating, that question is going to help them, if you know how to ask it properly, is going to send them into where? Into unconscious territory. How? Because by them trying to answer your question, they will need to retrieve some sort of information to answer your question, right? And where do they find that information? They find it in their unconscious bank, right? We can only focus on a small amount of things at once. And so when John Doe gets asked, what's the problem? And you keep asking them about how it's a problem, the different variables as to what makes emotional eating a problem for this person. That is hypnotic in and of itself, because then your clients will have to go through unconscious territory for them to answer your questions about how emotional eating is affecting their lives. That is how hypnotic this is. And a lot of the times, most people won't know the answer or how to take a client's answer to actually formulate their questions. This is what the neuropsych hypnotic questioning trainings are all about. There's over 100 videos in that platform. And also in the trainings, we go through this step by step, because once you get there, once you start this hypnotic process, then your client needs to watch out because their life will forever change because of this. When you know how to ask questions that retrieve unconscious territory, you are allowing the unconscious mind to help that person in front of you to resolve this problem for good. We know that the answers lie unconsciously, right? They just haven't tapped into yet. They need your help because we all have blind spots. And we know that the answer is within the client. So ask them questions to retrieve that unconscious information. And the better you are with asking questions, the more unconscious things come up. When you focus your client's attention on those, then That is how they're going to solve their problem. So the what's the problem then eventually becomes, you know what, there is no problem because you have helped them to unpack and investigate the root of the problem. Easier said than done, of course, but the answer, people underestimate how powerful asking questions are. But if I were to ask you right here, right now, who was your childhood best friend? When did you meet them? Did they have any siblings? That the answers to those questions came from where? Your unconscious, right? And so it might it might have been very easy for you to think about of those answers, but if we were to spend time talking more and more about it, you would need to pause, slow down, really think about it, and then give the answer. Doing this time and time and time again, you might know this as fractionation if you are a hypnotherapist, that the more you do that, then the more unconscious information your client gives you, which then leads you to more hypnotic territory, right? Where the client solves their problem. A lot of the times, I would say 99% of the hypnosis world focuses so much on the hypnosis. They think that hypnosis is a prerequisite instead of seeing it as a byproduct, which is what our hypnotic questioning sessions are all about. Hypnosis is a byproduct. We do not focus on it because that's not where the actual problem happens. That is a byproduct of solving a problem and a potential byproduct after, but not a prerequisite. And that is why what is the problem is the most hypnotic question you'll ever ask.